it's not a brand new direction. It's something that I've been involved with for a long time. And in some ways it's, as much as I've been translating songs into and out of Yiddish, I've also been tinkering around with the setting of poems,
Mhm.
which is, you know, one thing that I never studied was composition. I'm not a composer. I I studied writing poems and writing theater and various modes of writing, and then translation became my sort of way of interacting with Yiddish songs that existed, and then with putting things in a Yiddish idiom as a way of sort of finding a new angle. But the setting of music is not anything that I ever really of poetry is not everything that anything that I really plan to do. Um, but it's something that I've been doing on and off for a long time. And lately I've been also toying with what it means to set non-poetic text, what it means set to sing prose, to sing uh, lists, uh, to sing non-rhyming poetry that may not be, Yiddish poetry tends to be very songy, but there's a lot of it that isn't. And so this is a newish exercise for me. And I have an upcoming project with some other artists where we have a pretty open field of just basically setting poems. Um, we want them to be at least half written by women, and we want them to be at least, I think, a quarter or more by living Yiddish poets. And we've got a couple of months to do this. So I'm excited to interact with some of the work of like some living poets who we know. Um, and also to find ways of making these works songy in a way. I don't want to write opera. I don't want to write art song. I don't want to write, like some, vocal acrobatics that break your brain. I want to make songs. I like songs. So this is a new thing for me. I mean, the last project that I did that involved a lot of writing, uh, the music was by someone else, was by Christian David. But as I was making lyrics, the raw material for that lyrics was prose. And it was German prose and an English translation of the German prose, and then creating a pretty much a full-length theater production that was telling this story in the form of Moritaten or ballads, German ballads, switching freely between German and English as we needed. But that process of sort of turning prose into lyrics that doesn't always rhyme, and marrying that to Christian's music was a really great exercise for me. And then I started thinking, okay, well, how else can things become a song? So that's something that I've been
Okay. But you're
focusing
you're
on.
not stringing it together into a Singspiel.
Well, that project was a Singspiel.
Yeah.
We call it a
Okay.
Balladenspiel
Yeah.
or a ballad spiel. And it's the conceit is that I'm an old school Bänklesänger, you know. That's another interest of mine lately is this troubadour tradition. And within the Jewish context, I'm very interested in the Broder singers.
Hmm.
Also because there's a part of my family that comes from Brod, and I wonder if that somehow lay dormant in my genes, this these itinerant, you know, performers.
Full circle,
Uh,
Dan.
I don't
So
know if
when
it's a
you say,
circle. It
Well,
feels
kind of
like a
a
kind of
wandering
a
circle. a polygon.
So when you say prose, what kind of prose are you talking about? Right.
Well, I mean, in that case, it was a novel.
Oh,
But for another project, uh, I'm focused on I'm doing the music for another theater production that has something to do with Birobidzhan
well,
and with various modes of failed or not quite failed Jewish autonomy, um, and the ideas of Jewish autonomy. And I just read Gessen's book about Birobidzhan, which is largely not about it,
right.
but largely about their own background and Jewish Soviet identities. And the focus there was very much on Simon Dubnov and David Bergelson.
Mm.
So I'm toying with the idea of singing some Bergelson, and he didn't really write poetry, you know.
Okay.
So that's why that occurred to me that maybe there's something musical to do with his prose or even his political writings.
So does it become melodic? I mean, or is it recitative? Or I mean, what sort of
Well, it would become melodic. Yeah. I mean, that's the
that's
idea.
what you
That's the
mean by a song.
challenge.
Like, what do you mean by a song? He said, right.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would probably involve some rewriting or some repetition
Ah,
or some, you know,
Mm.
you chop things up. I don't know. I don't know. But uh a lot of it, I mean, a lot of the music for that piece will also be actual songs. I mean, I'm interested in the idea of political organization where really the defining characteristic was the language. Like the substance of I wouldn't even call it nationalism in that sense, only within the sort of Soviet framework of what a nation is, but the idea of an autonomous ethnic entity that was this region of, you know, East Asia, um, where, in absence of the religion, the organizing principle of this nation was the Yiddish language. And there was a lot of song production going on there and a lot of, intentional language production, which had various phases of being repressed. And then there would be and sometimes it was just a handful of folks who were doing this. But it's a very interesting epoch.
how well
And
documented is the actual music?
the music, I don't know. I mean, a lot of things I think were set to other tunes, Russian
Oh,
tunes.
contrafacta, right.
Yeah. And that's a good question. I don't know. This project is mercifully for later in next year.
Okay.
So it's really early stages with it.
Does
But I'm
anybody know
very
if there's any archival stuff that's actually
Mm.
from Birobidzhan or publications of songs that were sung there? I have no idea.
I mean, I've seen songs. I mean, we know a handful of songs, but I think the songs that we know about Birobidzhan were largely not from there.
Right,
They
that's
were
what
about there
yeah.
and they were sung in the Bronx or in, you know,
Camp Kindleland.
yeah. Yeah. Camp Kindleland. That's funny. I just brought a Camp Kindleland t-shirt to my friend who's in the hospital here with an ear infection.
Oh,
She wrote to me, she said, "Do you have any t-shirts?" Well, nobody's gonna know what this is. That's
The setting of prose to music. Uh, the most recent example I can think of is one of the tracks on uh, "Leave Them in
Palestine.
Palestina," where a section of the manifesto that the Yiddish System in Palestine published in October um, was set to music and sung, and there it was a very kind of tchinistic style
Hmm.
Yeah.
of music. So I'm
Mm.
just I'll be interested to see what musical approach you take.
Yeah, well, I'm also interested to see what I'll take. I mean, it's we'll see. I mean, I just as a side note, we can talk. It would be good to talk about that evening because I was astounded how present like I said this to Noam Lerman, who ran the Tachinis project, and I'm
Hmm.
not sure how many songs that were on that compilation came directly out of that work. I know Noam's did,
I
and
think three or four,
I think it was even more, and like Eleanor's song did, and
and Noam and Maya,
and
and
Maya's,
yeah,
and I think um Ariel's,
Yeah, I think Ariel. Yeah.
Ariel's partly, yeah. Hmm. So that's
and
four at
it
least.
was so
Yeah.
powerful to hear those in communion with everybody. You know, I
Hmm.
feel like there was something very isolated about the way those tracks were produced and came together, like everybody from their own little corners, and to do it all in that room,
Yeah.
it was the tahina or the prayer like pieces that I feel resonated the strongest.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
Yeah,
so yeah,
go on. No, I was
no,
okay. What I was getting in terms of creating melodies for things. I mean, there is, of course, I mean, I don't need to tell anybody here, but I'll say it that a very strong tradition, Yiddish tradition of recitative,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
ballad delivery.
Declamatia, right.
Yeah, I mean, right, declamation, Purimspiel, I mean, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it to me,
It
it
is.
pervades the musical culture
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we always talk
in
about
music.
how verbal the music is, even if it's not a recitative or as Josh would say, a zogivdik. There is a verbality to Yiddish song and instrumental music. You know, like it all comes from the text,
Mm.
um, and from the sense of and the way people talk. The musicality of speech is embedded in it as well. So maybe that'll play a role.
Mm.
But I am also interested in the actual musical culture of that era of and that corner of Soviet Jewish life, because it wasn't all marches and sing-alongs, it was a lot of different stuff, and the literary level of folks who were part of that moment was not something that you would always say is like Volksstimmlich. It's, like these were some high concept folks.
Mm.
At the same time, you jogged my thought process here to wonder whether there were, as in other Yiddish contexts, whether there were songs, the kinds of things that Berezovsky would otherwise have documented, or people like him, and whether um, just created by people about their lives in Birobidzhan. Obviously, probably people had to be cautious about what sentiments were uttered or made public, but possibly, I mean, Zev, you may know something about this, but someone like Misha Lukin or other folks in or from the former Soviet Union would have collected songs, something like what we could call folk songs, from written by people in Birobidzhan. just a, question mark, or, are there
Yeah,
things,
I don't know.
is
Yeah,
there,
if I don't know of it.
yeah, I'm not
And
aware of,
I don't know if, I mean, what I wanted to speak with Kolya when I was in New York about it,
yeah.
but I didn't have a chance. I probably still could. I don't know who else we know who's from there. I mean, Pasha went out there a couple of times and wrote articles about it
Oh,
and
yeah.
hung out with people who were just soy Pasha, and who
Mm.
he used to do a column for some Russian magazine. And he said that he met with a Jew who was living there and sort of dealing with the Jewishness of the place and was kind of the living ex the like he was the living Jew there, and his last name is Teutman.
What about Kotlerman? Boris Kotlerman.
Mm.
Oh
Cutlerman.
yeah.
Kahn.
Pierre
Yeah,
Kotelman, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
should reach out. It's we'll see. I mean, there is a lot. I mean, there has been a lot of research done. There are books. Gessen's book is a good read. I can recommend it, but it's not scholarly. It's more of
Hmm.
a
So,
yeah. But yeah, I don't. I so when I sent Mark this, hey,
Hi.
Oh, there's a,
Look who just showed up.
I
Now,
can weigh in on
I'm
Estrak's book on Birobidzhan.
oh yeah, what is Gennady Estrak's book like?
There were no women or children in Birobidzhan. It was only
Oh,
men.
apparently, really? Yeah, and well, they don't write anything anyway, right?
That's why it didn't survive.
Other than that, it's a great book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'll get back to my.
Bring in the
Uh,
cats.
Send in the cats.
The rest of the
Send in the
family.
cats. How's the weather up in Scotland right now? Is it?
Super windy right here.
Are you
Not,
below freezing?
no, I mean, it doesn't, it only,
That's New York.
yeah. It was a lot colder in New
Very
York
cold.
than it
New York is
usually is
horrible
here.
now. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
But
But let us
this
not
is
dwell on the miseries of life, right?
I was gonna say, here we are again. And I mean, it's been 3.5 days since I've been back. And I just spent this last month, with the majority of those present here, and it's great to be back together again. But it also it's slightly faded in some ways. It's like there's this, it's so
Yeah.
natural for me to be back in New York. I mean, I spent, so
Right.
far spent half my life there, and then it's also in a different way, natural to be here. But I'm really feeling that difference now. But so nice to connect with you all here too.
Yeah. Likewise. I
same,
I
same here. Yeah, yeah.
the time in New York for us was too short and also like felt long, like 3 weeks. I
Mm.
had to run to Detroit in the middle of it, but uh it was great to be there, and we on our last day we went to Barney Greengrass,
Oh, yum.
Okay.
flew home with a babka, and then
Good
had to thaw
choice.
out our boat because our heating had stopped working while we were gone.
Oh,
Mm.
oh.
And it
Mm.
killed all of our plants and some of Yeva's face cream and the macerator on our sewage treatment system.
Wow.
Well, that,
On the
yeah.
fritz, froze.
That froze, our water system froze, but we thawed it out. We thawed out. We're trying to be thoughtful.
I thought.
So, well, let's see. To get back to serious matters.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Um,
I mean, we in the last session we pretty much went through the things that I wanted to
Yeah.
share about my interaction with folk songs, but the text the docs that I sent to Mark, I ended up actually kind of building out that list of there's like this long list of translations and also multi-language originals
Mhm.
that I've made over the years. And I surprised myself about that I had forgotten that I had, like an Italian and an Italian song in Yiddish, and a Greek song that I had forgotten about. Uh, and that like these are interesting little like anomalies in my repertoire. And quite a few, a handful of French songs and quite a bit of German. What I haven't done is Yiddish into German in
Ah,
all of my work. That's the one
that's an
thing I've
interesting
never.
project. That is an interesting project.
Yeah.
Well,
Which raises
it's
a
been.
question. Well, go ahead, Dan. I mean, it raises a question I want to come back to, but
Go
about
ahead, go
why.
ahead.
And I'll put it out there now. And this is not really what I want to talk about, but like why translate Yiddish into German? But we'll bookmark that.
Well, there might not be a why, which is maybe why I haven't done it. There is a why, of course. And I don't know if I talked, remind me if I talked about, I can't remember the conversations I had
Okay,
the last,
say it again.
That's all right.
like earlier. There's two great like anecdotes that I love about Yiddish into German. Um, one of them surrounds this book, uh, Es brennt, Brüder, es brennt,
Ah,
which it was herausgegeben von Lin Yaldati,
right.
the Yiddish singer Lin Yaldati, who was actually Dutch, and her husband Eberhard Rebling, who was a German communist, and she survived the war. She actually knew Anne Frank.
Mm.
Uh, and then she became a very prominent Yiddish singer in the GDR
Right.
and made a number of records. And her daughter is Yalda Rebling, who is a cantor and a singer whom we know. And so she edited this book of songs, mostly from her repertoire, but also just, you know, chestnuts. And the German texts are by Heinz Kahlau, who was a well-known East German poet, um, kind of in the post-Brechtian mode, but he's definitely a different era, like 70s, 80s. I've got a couple of his books, and what I love here, there's a couple of things. There's quite a long, interesting, very political, uh, politically correct for its context forward by Rebling. But then you have on each page you have, this German transliteration of Yiddish,
Mm.
and then a singable German translation. And then in the back of the book, you have the various melodies with just the German set. So the book is really built for people to sing these songs in German.
Right.
War einmal ein Jiddele and ein Kantor am Sabbat. And my favorites, I think I did talk about this, but I never get
I
tired of
don't
it.
think so.
The thing of wait, where is Eli Melech here? Der Rebbe Eli Melech, wovon lebt ein Jude? It's like guess which song I'm talking about. Ein Liedchen. Anybody?
Nigendo.
The Azemerl. Die kleine Birke. Schwarze Kirchen, der alte Fuhrmann. It's really it makes your skin crawl a little bit sometimes, but
It reminds me of the thing that Cerulli said one time when arriving in Weimar, that I had gotten there like a day or two before, and we were going to get bikes together. And he said, on the way here from Frankfurt, I was thinking those poor Germans, they had to make up all these big long words for everything they didn't know the Hebrew for.
that's amazing.
Fine.
Yeah,
Go on.
that's great.
Okay, So here we have As der Rebbe Eli Melech, which I didn't realize this song is by who wrote this song? It's like
Moshe Nadir.
Mission
yeah,
Nadia.
it's Moshe Nadir. It's not a folk song at all.
No.
Yeah.
So As der Rebbe Eli Melech is geworden sehr freilich, right? And then in the next one it says geworden noch mehr freilich, and then geworden gar stark freilich, as we know. In the German, it's Als der Rabbi Elimelech ist geworden etwas fröhlich.
Etwas.
Yeah, like somewhat happy. And then in the second verse, er ist geworden ziemlich fröhlich, which is like
Seemingly.
Rather,
fairly,
yeah.
rather merry. And then schon sehr fröhlich. It's like yes, and in fact, he definitely had achieved Fröhlichkeit. So like this is a great example of like how every translation is a reflection of its culture. That
Yeah.
like he couldn't start out. There was nowhere to go. If he starts out sehr fröhlich, there's nowhere in German for him to go because he's already there. Which reminds me of my other favorite. And I'm wondering if I have it here. I don't want to search. So there's a joke book, a Jewish joke book that was published in East Germany. And it draws from many sources, jokes and anecdotes, and funny stories. And the author, I don't remember who compiled it. Where is it? Oh, there's Gut Yontif Gut Yor. I've been looking for this thing. This is another example of like certain
right.
kinds of translation culture,
Yeah.
but very different from what we're talking about. So, in this joke book, oh, I wish I could find it. Well, anyway, he admits that, or I don't know if it's maybe a she who compiled it, but the compiler admits that they drew heavily on Olswanger's Reuter Pomeranzen.
Right.
And you can see the same stories just translated into German in this book. And that book was originally published in Germany, I think, when Schocken was in Berlin.
Yeah, and basically to make Yiddish, humor, etc., accessible to German readers.
Probably German Jewish readers, even
Yeah, especially possibly, but
I like especially possibly.
especially possibly is
well, it is especially possible, in contrast to things that might not be as possible. It's like it's go stark freilich,
Yeah.
down freilich.
Großstadt Meglach.
Go stark freilich.
Stark Meglach. I like that.
That's good. That's good.
Definitely, maybe. All right, so this book, like Reuter Pomeranzen, starts with the same joke, and it's if you remember, wie wer lacht,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Als man erzählt am meisten, a Poyer lacht dreimal. Einmal als man erzählt, einmal als man erklärt und später als versteht. Und als man erzählt am meisten, what is it, a Poritz lacht zweimal, wenn man erzählt und wenn man erklärt, weil versteht das sei wie sei nicht. Und als man erzählt, am meisten ein Offizier lacht einmal, wenn man erzählt, weil erklären und lässt sich nicht und verstehen wird sei wie sei nicht. Und als man erzählt am meisten Aiden, hakt rein und sagt, ach, alte Meise, und kennt besser erzählen die Meise. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same joke in German. The same thing. Einen Bauer, einen reichen Landbesitzer oder einem russischen Offizier. But when it comes to the Jew at the end, it says, unterbricht er und sagt, ach, den kenne ich schon und er kann dir einen besseren erzählen.
Oh, that's different.
He can tell you a better joke.
Yeah, right.
And this is like this is why they'll never get it. they think that it's about like there's this joke and then there's a better joke, and he knows this other better joke. And not that he knows how to tell the same joke better.
Right,
So like this in itself is a worse version of the joke, first of all.
right.
Yeah.
And because they don't get that it's about a variant of the same joke. They think there's this sort of empirical system of quantitative funniness where certain jokes supersede other jokes. And he can tell you that one because he's somehow I don't know. So there's like that's my favorite story about Yiddish into
always-
German.
I always heard that about nationalities. When you tell a joke to a Frenchman, when you tell a joke to an Englishman, that's the way I heard that joke.
Mm.
Oh,
That's
tell it.
funny.
That's. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't remember what the
I remember
Oh,
which
that's
one
awesome.
is which, but one it's maybe the Englishman laughs once out of politeness.
right.
So that's not in this version at all.
Okay. Yeah.
He doesn't, but he's, and then the one who laughs out of politeness, but then gets it, and it go, and then you get to the Jew who tells it better, but it went through nationality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, right.
Could be. I mean, it works in.
Yeah.
There are jokes. I don't know. Yeah, it must be in there. I mean, there are jokes where I've heard. I don't know if it's from Oldsfinger. The joke about the Jew who converts to Christianity on his deathbed, and the rabbi comes to him and says, "What? Why would you do that?" And he says, "Ah, it's besser einer von sei soll sterben."
Right. Right.
I've heard that joke told to me totally randomly in different contexts. Someone told me a Yugoslavian version of it where it's a Bosnian who converts to Orthodoxy. I've heard a version of it
Mm.
told by the daughter of an FLN fighter from Algeria, where her father would tell that joke about an Algerian who becomes a French citizen on his deathbed. And that joke has legs. I mean, that's
Brilliant.
really
That is
it
brilliant.
works with every animosity.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I've translated, of course, for super titles. I've translated songs into
Right.
German,
Mhm.
but never into singable
Singable.
German. There's an evil part of me that really wants to like just do a concert of these Nachdichtungen, like
Mm-hmm.
Hanele lernt Hebräisch. I mean, some of the
Of course,
more political,
no one will get it though.
yeah. No, but that's
But they'll
I'm used to
applaud,
that.
they'll applaud anyway.
Right,
Definitely
Yeah,
possible.
Es war einmal ein Märchen und das Märchen ist gar nicht fröhlich.
right.
Like, well, some of them work. Und ist die Zeit auch noch so weit? The more like the ones that were kind of Deutschmarisch and Yiddish,
To
the
begin
more
with, yeah.
Yeah.
the more romantic, revolutionary material.
Okay.
Although actually, as war einmal ein Märchen, actually, because that song is probably from an older layer of Yiddish song that's closer to German song. Das
nice
klingt
one.
mir, das klingt mir recht.
Right.
Yeah, well, you can. It's because it draws on the same sort of medieval,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, ja, ich bin ein Schneider. I mean, the problem is that, yeah, okay. Miete und ach und weh, Miete und herrje. Miete, I mean, why not? People have to pay Miete in German. What's
And
really
also-
weird is like the anti-Nazi stuff in here in German.
Oh.
Itzhak Wittenberg and
Hmm.
so 1, 2, 3. Ah, das Lied von Birobidzhan. Here we go. I forgot about this.
It's interesting
So here we
about
have it in.
Zu ein, zwei, drei, because it was originally written in German.
Well, yeah, it was the Einheitsfrontlied, right? It's
Right.
that was one of the only times people. Yeah, fließen da zwei Flüsse, Biro und Bijan. Ja, dort hat sich ein frohes Land uns aufgetan. Holz verschaffen Wälder, Flüsse geben Fisch, Brot besorgen Felder für den neuen Tisch. Ja.
Sounds okay.
So this is the whole, swimming between languages thing.
Yeah.
Um, and on this list, I also put together things that I've created that jump between languages. Things like there's a song about called Sheres Hora. Often they were created for various theater contexts where we're jumping between languages anyway. Um, the very first time I did that, I guess, was with The Broken Tongue, where Michael, you helped me write a Yiddish chorus, just a couple of lines, you know. And in doing workshops with young songmakers, this is always a really nice way to ease into a language is to just have a single line in a different language or even a word,
Mm.
and to let things sort of flow. But I find it to be pretty rewarding. Um, and yeah, there's
Well, how do you compare it to the macaronic tradition, which is very old, actually, in the Yiddish song? Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, well, macaronics certainly play a large role in my diet, and apparently it has the same root, right? It actually comes from macaroni
Sure.
Yeah,
because
sure.
noodles are cheap, like polyglot rhymes. Um, but I shamelessly employ that. I mean, I remember when we translated "Was willen die Herrscher, was willen die Vampiren." Uh, I love how villain sounds like villain, so I put in the villainous vampires, and it sits in the same place. But the "Was willen die Herrscher, the villainous vampires." It's just I don't know. There's some little things like that. They make things click. Uh,
Es singt sich.
and es singt sich, also. Um, and especially if you're singing both languages, if you're going to sing both things, then the the musicality of it sort of takes precedence even over
Language.
the language or the sense. And yeah, so I'm always on the lookout for things. I I don't know if we looked at this in the last session. Did I show you this?
No?
So this is another German thing. Hava Nashira auf, lasst uns singen.
Huh.
It was this is a reprint. It was reprinted in two volumes within the last 25 years, certainly. But this book was printed in 1935
Well,
Hmm.
originally in Berlin and Hamburg, uh, probably as part of the Kulturbund,
yeah.
which was the last vestige of sanctioned Jewish cultural production within Nazi Germany. And this is a songbook which contains um like maybe one third Yiddish folk songs, one third Hebrew, mostly Zionist sort of pioneering songs and things like that, and one third German songs that kids would sing. Like just to kind of show that these are also German children who sing this stuff. And so next to like at oh, and it's interesting. Oh, okay, so there's German songs like An den Wasseren Babylons.
Mm.
So like even some biblical stuff. But then there's also As der Rebbe weint and so weiter and Pag Purim, Dundai. Oh, that's a Hebrew thing.
I,
Ein Heller und ein Batzen. That's a well-known German folk song. But oh, and then there's Inhaltsübersicht. So there's Mensch, Natur, Gott, Anhang,
Mm.
mehrstimmige Lieder. And then there's several essays about Jewish rhythm, like rhythmic, metric, melodic, harmonic, dynamic,
Really?
die Neginot. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
It's kind of a weird little window
Yeah.
Hmm.
into a kind of German Jewish take on Jewish stuff at a really horrible time.
Mhm.
And that's where I found this, which we recently recorded and we put it verbatim almost on the new record that I did with Christian and Jake, which here is called Cherry Bomb. And it's a little medley where you'll recognize certain things in it, but it kind of rockets through several different things. So it goes la la. I'll sing it exactly as it's written here. La 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 la, and then that repeats la 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 la, and then here goes la 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 la. Second thing. Now this. Als ich wollt Koyach hoben,
Mhm.
wollt ich in die Gossen gelaufen und wollt geschrien Goles. Oi, Goles, 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 Goles.
Yeah.
Chitty bum 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 chitty bum 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 Heidi Haida Heidi Heidi Haida la 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 la. It's
Hmm.
wild. And so we've been playing this all over the place because we love it. We love every section of it. I've
That's great.
never have any of you heard of a variant of Voltich Gehat Koyach that is about Golis and has a different melody?
Yes, but not, I mean, it seems more or less the same melody. I mean, it's obviously the same.
It's well da 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 da
Eh,
da. Volta Coif never goes to the natural to the leading tone like that. Like it goes to a five, da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da, and then ba da da dee da dee da dee da da dee da da da. It's not so close. I mean, I think when we hear it with the text, it sort of it jives with the other one,
I,
but it's not. It's kind of a different thing, and it's different.
I tend to say things are the same when they're variants. They're obvious variants.
Yeah.
But it also uses what's, as I understand, is more of a Litvish, as ich wollt koyach hoben.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yes,
wollt ich in die Gossen gossen,
right.
and it's interesting, Gossen gelaufen und wollt geschrieben Golis, Golis. Yeah. And so, you know, in our little world of playfully political diasporism, I like to sing this in a positive sense, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm a goal sticker. Um, I found no real information on this. I looked in the second volume where there's some background on each piece, and it said something like a traditional Hasidic song, in which the wandering Jew bemoans his exile,
Oh,
something like that. Um,
I feel like I've heard at least one or know of one, at least one Hasidic version that also is a Golas
with
Gulas.
Golis.
oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
What is the
Why
origin
not?
of the song, actually?
I
Obscure.
just knew it as
Obscure, really?
Shabbos.
I
Yeah.
assumed it was Hasidic.
Yeah, and I was gonna say one word, Lubavitch.
Uh,
I know
Yeah, it's
I'm only saying that because there's so much that comes out of yeah, especially these kind of songs that come out of the Lubavitcher tradition. But of course, by no means everything.
Lovitch still sings it,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
including a version
that's
in
yeah.
English.
yeah.
Really?
They sing it with Golos or sing it with
No,
it was
Shabbos.
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 Shabbos, right?
Yeah,
Shabbos.
yeah.
Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos.
Yes, yeah.
Sha Shabbos, Heilige Shabbos. I've heard it. I like. I've performed. I've been in situations where I'm performing Adrian's version,
Uh,
and some like OTD, like some like, this guy. He's actually kind of a well-known writer who writes books about coming from the Hasidic world. He like got up on stage and like corrected me. He's like, no, 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 no. This is Shabbos. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like he literally got on the stage and said, no, it's supposed to be Shabbos.
Now, wait a second. Talk about translations into German that people don't get, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, of course.
And you had sent a list to Mark that Mark you never sent to us.
Well, it's at
um,
the end of this academic article that I wrote, the Yiddish song
Oh,
smuggling.
Mm.
okay.
So
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
tacked on at the end. It's like an
Okay.
appendix. I was
I mean, I must have it, so I can send it if you like, Ethel.
That would be
I
great.
could also send it to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Hmm.
yeah, there's polyglot and Yiddish originals, Yiddish English adaptations, English Yiddish, German Yiddish, French Yiddish, Russian Yiddish, including the song of Crocodile Gena,
Mm.
Italian Yiddish, Spanish Yiddish, Greek Yiddish, German English, also German English, Greek English, Russian English,
Wow.
which may not be so relevant here, but at some point I think I was just getting into like making a list.
Hmm.
A
Can I
listicle.
can I pose a question since we haven't exactly bookmarked it, but really got into talking about, starting with translations into German. Just a few years ago, um, possibly maybe even 2019, something like that. Um, I was having lunch with Shevet Zucker in New York, and I just raised this because I mean I don't have an answer to it. I thought it would, especially with you here, Dan, it would be an interesting question to raise. So Sheva was talking, remarking on the phenomenon of us, translating, tradapting songs, and especially though, in regard to those of us putting songs like American songs, Dylan, etc., into Yiddish. She said, and those of you who know Sheva here will probably chuckle at this. She said, "Why translate things into Yiddish?" And she would, with puzzlement. And with puzzlement, and if she's also an academic, and she's thinks about things. But I think she was, truly puzzled as, really asking the question, what's the point of translating them into Yiddish? So I uh, I opened the floor.
What did you tell Sheva? Right.
It's rhetorical.
It is rhetorical. I mean, I probably talked to, I mean, I don't know I don't remember exactly what I said to Sheva, but I mean, for myself, to me, it's in part, it's a manifesto. It's about identity, proclaiming and identity, and using the resonance Yiddish has socially, politically, um, and in our circles and potentially beyond. I mean, particularly, if, I would say among Jews, to say we can make this statement in Yiddish as well, or that it has a different resonance in Yiddish that I think speaks to questions that issues Jews have. Let's put it that way.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's part of it.
A number
I
of the
would
songs, there's humor too. I mean, they choose the songs they choose are humorous, or the absurdity of doing it in Yiddish. You not hear me?
Oh, that's more Mickey Katz territory, right?
Well, sort
I
of, but
No, but recently over the last few years, They're
Yeah.
translating country western songs into Yiddish.
Yes,
Such a
absolutely.
tremendous effect.
I mean, there is that like that, and I think that there was that more before. Like
Yeah.
you would find this online. Like somebody doing a Beatles song in Yiddish, and it's funny because it's in Yiddish.
Right. That's
Um,
post-vernacular. But we're talking about something that's beyond post-vernacular, I think. It's kind of trying to re-vernacularize or create
Yeah.
a new vernacular rather than being post-vernacular like that kind of parody was. But I'm just putting that out there, trying to.
Yeah, I agree though.
Or is it post-post?
Well, I give up
I
on
think
that. I will not do
I do.
post-post. There's no point doing that because
He
then you
doesn't
just go
like
on. You
post.
have to go on
it's
forever.
pre-vernacular.
No, you
Right.
have to say we had post vernacular and now we have something else.
Right.
Now we
Right.
have re-vernacular.
Yeah, I'm calling it
Um,
revernacularization.
Revernacularization is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
but I think that there is. I would even argue that like these other more current modes of Yiddification of songs or Verteilung is there's a post vernacularity to it as well,
Uh-huh.
even though it doesn't rely on some of the same dynamics that the older model of, let's say, Mickey Katz style or singing Giving a schwer dicke Nacht or something, like where things it's funny because it's in Yiddish, or like I saw some old guy do like a stand up at it was some video of him doing it like an old folks home and he was doing his Yiddish version of uh als ich bin gewesen, a klein Mädel, hab ich gefragt mein Taten, wie will ich sein schön, will ich sein reich, hat mein Tate gesagt zu mir, nein. So there's that. But when I'm thinking of, so I'm just looking at this list of like when I started doing things into Yiddish, right? Um, there, in the very beginning, there was always some kind of subversive playfulness.
Mhm.
So probably the first thing that I translated into Yiddish was either Sympathy for the Devil or Lily Marlene.
Mhm.
I mean, Lily Marlene obviously is subversive because it's a Nazi song. And in and of itself, it's just a kind of kitschy Schlager, with vaguely military and sex worker milieu. And that was not my idea. That was Tina Kinderman's idea. Um, and Sympathy for the Devil, I did that at a time when we were working on the first International with Psoy. We were in Tel Aviv, and he had already a Russian version of Sympathy for the Devil, which itself was loosely based on The Master and Margarita. And
Ah,
we were making a record that was about like archetypal anti-Semitic tropes and big questions about like Jewish nefarious, you know, like we were playing around with all of these evil spirits. And so there was something very playful about Sympathy for the Devil, where you're talking about Pontius Pilate and then the Bolshevik Revolution and then, you know, conspiracies and sort of the big bad behind everything, like this big kind of conspiratorial evil. And so there was something subversive about that. And then when I look at the other ones, it's like either it was something that someone explicitly asked me to do, like an ABBA song in Yiddish, which I was well paid to translate SOS into Yiddish for a production of The Merchant of Venice for some reason. I mean, it's like this was nothing that I would ever choose to do. Um, um, but then really, or yeah, maybe a Tom Waits song that was really kind of like because the song sounded Jewish already. Um, but really starting with the Leonard Cohen stuff, like when I started doing like Hallelujah and then a couple of Dylan songs, and then what I then discovered was that singing songs that I loved in their original language, or songs that evoked a certain just feeling for me personally, that to find a way of that to sing them in Yiddish is just really fucking pleasing. Like it just feels really good because I like singing Yiddish and I like these songs and I like what this does to those songs and I like what it does to me to sing them. And that comes sort of in addition to all of these things that like this what Yiddish carries with it in a kind of public or cultural way. Just like personally, I really love singing Tom Waits in Yiddish. I love singing Stephen Foster and Woody Guthrie in Yiddish. Um, and the other thing, which is also probably as operative in this, is that some of you might know, like I'm a compulsive crossword puzzler,
Oh,
and I come from like a father who wrote the word puzzle for the daily newspaper in Detroit for 50 years. He didn't do it, he like created it. And so for me, translating a Phil Oakes song into Yiddish or and like making it work in an idiomatic and lyrical way is the ultimate puzzle, which is also true translating it into English. But I don't know. It's just I if I think that if one line, if one word will work well in the other language, then I have to kind of do the whole song
hmm.
and give that one line a place. Um,
Well, in my academic way, I use the term domestication for this. It's like there's something wild out there, right? An animal or a plant, and you bring it in. You bring it in, you break it to use, and you make it familiar. Okay.
Mm.
And that process of domestication is a real human thing. That's what we do. And
yeah.
so to me, this is that struck me as being a suitable word for this kind of process. But you have to have the idea that it's kind of wild out there. It's not us, it's alien, but how can it be useful for us? And that's, I think, what you're saying.
Yeah. But there's also something about it, like it was domesticated when it was in my native tongue already, you know? So in some ways, like I'm releasing it into the wilds of my lesser known, like second or third language. Uh, there's a cat that would come around here who had been kicked out of the neighbor boat because he wasn't breeding. Um,
Huh.
and so we were dealing with a cat, a rewilded cat.
Oh, okay. Right. There's this
So I'm thinking about
anti
that process as well. He peed in our car, is what
naturally,
happened.
naturally. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. I said it's also the intersectionality
Yeah,
getting totally expressed.
yeah,
Especially with social songs, yeah.
yeah. Then it
With
becomes a
political
social
stuff.
Or,
statement
or
too. Yeah.
personal songs.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Say more about that, Ethel. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Well,
Exactly? What's an example?
we're not unidimensional.
Right. Right.
And it's like people say, when I speak this language, I feel like I'm this person, and I speak that
Right.
language, and I feel like that person. And I believe that,
Mm-hmm.
and if you just stay with the one, it's kind of limiting. Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, I have to take off. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
we've been
Oh,
going a long
God.
time.
Dan, thank you.
We don't have to
thank
exhaust
you.
Dan any
Love
farther.
to Eva, and we'll speak. Come
I
back
hope
to
so.
the
Yes.
city.
Yeah, this has been really, really fruitful conversation, Dan.
Wonderful.
So thanks
Yeah.
for
I'd like to
Well,
continue.
It's a pleasure as
staying up
always.
and talking to us. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure and my honor.
And so, gang, I don't know.